Thanks for checking in again. It's been more than a week since I last did anything on the Move Everything hack for the Ableton Move. And the pace of the thing moves so rapidly. We've got a number of new synthesizers that I'd like to give you a quick look at. We've got some really great quality of life improvements that I think are quite a change for the machine as well. Notably, display mirroring, which is a bit of a game changer for the visually challenged like myself, and yay, a song mode. So I'm going to link to a separate video showing song mode working because I haven't yet done a complete song with it. I'm working on something at the moment, and I'll probably release that later next week. But in the meantime, I thought now was a good chance to quickly show off some of the new synths. Let's get into it. I guess just to recap, what I'm showing here is a hack for the Ableton Move. It's actually a software layer that sits behind the main Ableton Move operating system and can happily coexist. So the two don't impact on each other. They speak to each other via MIDI. So in every sense, the Ableton Move still functions in all the ways that Ableton intends. Just in standard way. So if I go into a track, this USB keyboard is plugged directly into the Move, so just as per usual. We can play the sounds, I can sequence, I can do all the things that an Ableton Move would, but by a special key combination using the shift, volume, and one of the track modes puts you into Move Everything mode, which for each of the tracks gives you a slot for MIDI effects, a slot for a synthesizer module, and most of these are Linux and Raspberry Pi synths that have been ported over, 2 effects slots for effects processors, and a settings default for everything. So what I'll just do is let's make sure that, let's put this on. So that's MIDI out channel 4. Let's go to the setting there, and we're on receive channel 4. So the Move Everything layer, which is now on this track, that's the Move side playing. So if I just want to hear the Move Everything synth, I need to put something on this track on the Move side that is going to give us silence. So let's go. The easiest way of doing this is to load a sampler instrument and don't put a sample in it, so that okay, so nothing coming out of there, but it is sending internally via MIDI channel 4. So if I now go into the Move Everything layer, and let's select a synth. So there's 4 synths that are new that I'd like to give a run through. Hush, which is a emulation of the Roland SH101 mono synth, a classic. Granny, which is a granular synthesis model. NuSaw, which is an emulation of a supersaw type synth. So if you think JP8000 or something along those lines, very much 2000s, 2010s trance and rave classics. And we've also got Plaits, or Plaits as some people call it, which is quite a notable software oscillator that's big in the modular world. Some of these I'm only partly familiar with, but I'll try and give you a little bit of a run through for them. So as I said, first slot here is MIDI effects. These have expanded from the regular arpeggiator, which expands on the capabilities of the inbuilt Ableton One to have up and down and other arpeggiator patterns. We've now got a chord mode, a generative arpeggiator, and a super art with lots more configurable things. So this Eucalypso is kind of Euclidean type sequencing. So yeah, really interesting in its own right. But that's probably enough material for another thing just by itself. But let's go for Hush first, and you can see these are the list of additional synths that now we have available. So it's just getting longer really all the time. I had a quick run through some of them on a previous video. So here's Hush 1. So selected, click, and that takes me into. So that's the initial patch, and I guess notably it does have access to I think the TAL, who do a software SH101 emulator of their own. This will use the same patches, so I've downloaded some of their free ones, and but what they've also done is map all of the knobs to some of the most useful parameters on the synth. So and it's got very much that SH101 kind of self-oscillating filter quality to it. So and I had actually already done a sequence on the Ableton side. Turn that down just a little bit, so you can see that what I can then do in addition. Let's add some effects to it. So there's a Juno style chorus. Kind of mega reverb. Yeah, different characters of reverb, as you can see. So this is running parallel to the SH101 emulation. So let's take those off. So it's just dry again. Back to the synth, and you can see I've got access to various other parameters. These were sliders on the left hand side of the original SH101, so we're very much the same sort of character. same pulse width modulation controls. And these can be mapped to the knobs as well, so anyway, you get the idea. And some great sounds. I mean, I've not Qbut is what comes to my mind there. Oops, getting buzzed by some wildlife. Yeah, anyway, gives you a general idea. Really usable, great for basses, great for sequence lines, etc, etc. So let's go into another one. How about grains? Oops. So shift and pressing the knob lets me go, granny, sorry, as the granular synth is called. Here we go. So now, I don't know if you're familiar with this type of synthesis. So this relies generally on taking a sample, splitting it into small segments that are then used in sequence as an oscillator. And usually there are controls that introduce some random elements to this or repeat various sections of the sample. If you're kind of aware of using wavetable synthesizers, they're a very similar synthesizer model to this, but usually with smaller samples. This you can select a big sample. So let's try and find something with some so these are bass samples that I've got. Okay, I need the volume up a bit. One thing about the various modules is that some of them do differ in gain between each other. So I'll go out of the actual synth and go to the settings part of it. So we can actually take the right, so go back into it. So we've got a sample loaded. What you then can choose is which part of the sample you want, the density, and some of the random elements to it as well. I can't say I've had much of a chance to play with this yet. Most of what I've been able to produce with it kind of sound like something from the soundtrack of Eraserhead, if you know that movie. Sort of organic sounds. I'll have more of a play. I'll probably come back to that one and give you a better idea next time, I think. So. Yeah, anyway, like I said, I'll go away and I'll find out a bit more about, experiment a bit more, and maybe get some samples that are maybe better suited to it. How about I show you next the NuSaw, which I think has been written by Charles Vestal himself, who's the guy behind Move Everything. And what Charles is aimed for, I think, with this one is emulating kind of Roland supersaw type synths like JP8000, etc. This I've had a play with. This is right up my street, so let's turn that down a bit. with effects built into the sounds. I haven't got pitch bend on this keyboard, but they're pitch and modulation sensitive, so yeah, great usable sounds just as they are. With the effects on them, they're awesome. How about next I show you Plaits, or Plaits, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that, but again, not one I know particularly well, but it basically, in fact I'll go back into the settings and turn the gain down on this, because this is loud. It's basically a software modeled oscillator. So there's various algorithms, I think, that can be used as the basis for the oscillator. It can emulate kind of FM DX type sounds to a point where I think you can actually load DX7 patches into it. But it seems to have some really interesting models. If I go into now the change the model on one of the knobs on top here, so oops. Yeah, definitely I think with a bit of work you could do something really great with those, I think. So that's the string machine model, virtual analog, wave shape. Whoops. Actually I can do those with the wheel a little bit easier to click through them. Additive, wavetable. Yeah, I'm getting Aphex Twin vibes. Yeah, crazy. Whoops, and Marble madness. yeah, no, some great sounds. I'm sure they're waiting to be discovered. Again, I could be just doing a video on that. There is, as I said, along with the new synths, new effects, there's a granular synthesis software effect, lots of quality of life improvements. They've tidied up the whole core of it, so the presets that you do on the Move, everything side gets saved along with the actual set. But I guess the most notable one for me, and probably the one I'm going to be using the most, is that they've come up with a whole new menu. So if I go into session mode, there's now pressing shift and volume actually lights up one of the hidden icons. There's now a menu with some fantastic extra tools in that we didn't have before. So the one that stands out for me is song mode. I'll come back to that, but we've now got on-device stem separation that works really well. Time stretching, a visual wave editor. The song mode, though, I will link to Charles Vestal's video about this because it gives a great run through. I'm yet to do a song this way, but definitely check back in and you'll see, because basically what it does, you can see that I've selected 1, 2, 3 on the C track there. I can then move into the next part of the song, choose which pads are on that. I can click on it, I can choose how many times it gets repeated, how long the actual clip shows up on it, and I haven't yet had enough of a play, but definitely it extends beyond just 8 slots. You can then have the ability to play the song or actually record audio for the song. So that works better once you're on the version 2 Move firmware. But yeah, I think this will end up being the piece of Move Everything that I use the most. I think that's probably enough for now. You can see, it's bringing new capabilities, new ways of using the device, new sounds, what's not to like. So I'd say if any of this intrigues you, I would check out Charles Vestal's videos, which are great at explaining how this is done. It's a very easy process to do the hack. There's a very active Discord that I think, if you're feeling wary of this, may well give you some reassurance that there's a whole community supporting it, and it's been probably the most fun I've had with my Move since I got it. So pretty much every couple of days brings something new and exciting, and this week is definitely going to be song mode, and as you can see, the ability to bring up the display is a real boon as well. So I'd say check it out. Thanks for watching the video, and see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.